This video is going to be a demonstration of the Smarts Adapter tool that Cyburity has been working on for the past couple of weeks, and to demonstrate it we're going to be migrating this item DEV2855, the Juniper traps from Smarts, and when we start we come to the Confluence page. Now on the Confluence page is the Juniper, well in this case the Juniper docx, but there will be a docx that contains the ASL script. I'll go ahead and open that up. I've already downloaded it and put it into the folder that I will be doing the conversion from. And contained in this file is some information about the trap and the ASL script itself that is used by Smarts to interpret incoming trap agent messages. So our goal is to use this information to create a OASIS trap for every possible case that this ASL script will handle. So to do this, I'm going to be running this from the Visual Studios. It can be made into a standalone program. This is just more for convenience on my part. So start up the program. Oops, sorry. It already started, I just didn't see it. Okay, now this is an interface that Skylar was kind enough to put together for me to make it easier to work with. And I'm hoping to expand that interface so that other people can easily perform this operation. That was one of the purposes of this program. We originally had another program that was written by Fox, but that one required pre and post processing. So the purpose of this one was to continue the automated process, but make it so you didn't have to actually look at the file ahead of time, make changes or tweaks after the fact. Now this information here is supposed to be in the event a ticket needs to be created, but after speaking to Greg and Jim, it seems that a one-size-fits-all will not work here. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later, but part of the reason I use the Juniper for my demonstration is it doesn't have any actual tickets generated. So I'll go ahead and hit OK. After selecting my document, and it will run the grammar. Now the grammar is very important here. This is how it interprets the ASL code and builds a tree so it can actually try running all possible iterations through the code. So that being finished, you can see it generated these files here. Now some of these are just diagnostic files, and I'll probably be removing them because they're irrelevant to the actual process, but this one is not. The document text is actually can be used to build up the Confluence documents. So you have a catalog here of the names of the traps to be created, and down here you have the detailed information. So when the Confluence documents, this is the JIRA, I apologize, this is the JIRA document, and when we go to populate the Confluence documents, which I've actually already done, we can just cut and paste that information into the Confluence document. So here's all the detailed documents. So that actually cuts down on this quite a bit, is part of the idea. So that having been done, so now we've converted it, we've filled out our Confluence document. Actually, just for the sake of being thorough, I'm going to go ahead and just say you hit the edit button and you can cut and paste that information into here. Now if need be, at a later date I can make it so that it can create some of this other information, so like how many were created, the generic number, things of that nature. I have all that information at my disposal once this goes through. So I'm going to go ahead and just close that because it's already done. So in our process, now that our Confluence document is completed, we can go ahead and actually install the traps. So currently there is no nice UI as there is for the modification, so I'm going to actually have to be running it through this file right here with hard-coded values, but I can easily make another dialog box. So we're going to be sending this up to the test server. We're going to be using the OASIS add or update API call, and the JSON information will be actually provided through this file. So we can come over here and see that this file actually has all the information necessary to add the, oops, that was a mistake, to add all of the adapters. So I'm going to go ahead and run this file. Let's see. And so this will read all the JSON out of this one and make the calls. And we can look over here. There was an install log. And you can see it successfully installed all these traps onto the test server. Now once the traps are installed on the test server, it is up to us to test the server. So I actually have an instance of it up over here. You can check the live events and we can see the testing I've already done. Excuse me. So these are actually the tests I ran last Friday, but I'm going to go ahead and run another test. Now since these events have already been triggered and they haven't been cleared, I've got to select one that I haven't already done. So I'm going to come over here to this SSH, and these were the test scripts that we used in the past. So this one's already here. I'm actually thinking about writing a new portion to this program that will automatically test all of the new trap adapters and use the OASIS API to verify that the events were generated. But for right now, I'm just going to use the old method just for demonstration. So what I'm going to have to do is change, right now this is set up to call specific, let's see, trap gen. So this is to calling trap gen 6. So we're going to call, let's see. Sorry, I couldn't find the insert key for a second. I'm going to actually come back over to the traps I've installed. I'm going to go look at the documentation here. And let's call trap number 9. Now, in a perfect world, we would try out all of these. I'm not actually sure what the original process was, but we're going to go ahead and change this to, let's see, that's the generic, so this would be the specific trap, so we're changing it to number 9. So that should be enough. Save it and get out, and we're going to now run the test script. And so it now says that it has generated the event through the SNMP trap application. So now if we come over here, in a few minutes we should see the event number 9, which was event name IVE startup. So we should see this event. It should happen today. And here we have it. There is the event, so we know that this trap is working and doing what it's supposed to be doing. We can actually come over here, actually thought there was a way to look at it deeper. View event, here we go. So we can see here, let me pull this over so that we can compare. Oops, my apologies. So Juniper IVE event, Juniper IVE has been started. It is a momentary. This is the device it was on. And we can see here that it has, let's see, name notification. So we can see that it does have, here we go, this is what I was looking for. So it has put in the correct user-defined 8. Now this part right here I think is a little odd, where sys translates to the IP address and A also translates to the IP address, but I was told that this is correct. So these monitors are now installed and ready to go. We can move that. That item has actually already been moved over to TR for this coming week. Now, the user-defined 10, the action. This is something that I actually spoke to Greg about the other day. And Jim told me that what happened was originally is user-defined 10, it comes back from smarts with the word trap, colon, and the device, and then that is actually handled through a lookup table. I've actually gotten the lookup table from Jim, and I actually started to work on it, but Greg asked me to hold off implementing that into my program until I've gotten more input on how that needs to proceed. So this is the status of the project currently, and this is how it's going to operate in the future. Any questions, please direct it to me, and thank you for your time.